After a lot of wait, LIC has finally filed its IPO document, the Draft Red Herring Prospectus DRHP with SEBI. Now I have my reasons to believe that this is going to be a very successful IPO, and I will cover these reasons in detail. So please watch this video till the very end. I will be talking about the IPO offer details, LIC's business, the financials of LIC, the strengths, the risks involved in this IPO, and finally, whether or not you should invest in LIC's IPO. So without any delay, let's begin. Alright, so through this IPO, LIC is offloading close to 32 crore shares for the common public. Now, this IPO is a 100% offer for sale and not a fresh issue. I'll briefly tell you the difference between the two. In an offer for sale, the money raised in an IPO goes to the investor, which is reducing its stake in the company. In LIC's case, the government of India is reducing its stake in LIC by 5 percentage points, and hence the money raised through this IPO will go directly to the government of India. In a fresh issue, the money raised through the IPO goes to the company, in this case LIC. So in LIC's case, there is 100% offer for sale and no fresh money is being raised from the public directly towards the company. Now let us come to what LIC does. It is the 5th largest life insurance player in the world and the largest life insurance player in India, and that too by a mile. Take a look at these numbers. 64% of all the insurance premiums that are paid by people go to LIC. 66% of the new business premium that is paid by the people go to LIC. And 71% of the new policies issued come directly from LIC. That's the kind of dominance that they have in the Indian market. If we talk about LIC's product portfolio, that is spread across all the types of possible insurance schemes that can be given, both in the individual segment as well as in the group segment. Whether you talk about the savings insurance scheme, term insurance, health insurance, unit linked insurance plan, or even annuity based insurance plans, LIC has a broad product portfolio covering all the possible segments. Now that we understand that LIC has a good product portfolio and a good market share, let us try to find out what the competition is doing in this particular segment and where do the other players stand in this space. Alright, so I just told you that 64% of the total premiums that are paid by the people go to LIC, which means that currently LIC has a 64% market share in India. If you talk about the other players, SBI Life Insurance is a distant second with only a 8% market share. They are followed by HDFC Life and ICICI Prudential Life Insurance, both having a 6% market share. This is followed by a Max Life and Bajaj Allianz, which have a 3% and a 2% market share. The remaining 11% is constituted by other small players. Now, when you look at this chart, it just goes to show the phenomenal dominance that LIC has. You combine all the other players in this segment, they are still very small if you compare them with LIC. The second player, SBI Life Insurance, has just a 8% market share, whereas LIC is 8 times that number. So LIC does not have any problem with respect to market capturing. But given the kind of market share that they have, does that necessarily translate to huge profits and huge revenue? Let's find out. Alright, if you take a look at their revenue growth for the past 3 years, this chart will just confirm what I have been telling you all along. A continuously increasing trend as far as the revenue is concerned. This just goes to show that in spite of the phenomenal market share that they have gained, they are still growing their revenues, which means they are reaching out to newer and newer customers, finding out new sources of revenue, selling more and more insurance policies, and all of that combined is contributing to an increase in their revenue. But a bigger question is that increase in revenue also translating to an increase in profits? Let's take a look at this chart. A similar trend is what we see in the profit as well, which means that the revenue, the top line, and their bottom line, which is the profit, are both growing on a year-on-year basis. Now think of it this way. More often than not, based on the historical trend, we see that a lot of businesses are going ahead with an IPO where the businesses are eventually loss making. But LIC is a very different case altogether. While the profit is growing on a year-on-year basis, it is very, very encouraging to see that this is a business where the profit is also growing continuously on a year-on-year basis. But now that we have understood the main positives of LIC's IPO, there are certain risks as well for the LIC's business. Before investing in this IPO, please do take a look at these risks as well. So let's find what are these risks. The first risk for LIC is a very high dependence on single premium insurance policies. When I say single premium policies, I mean that the customer or the person who is purchasing the policies just pays one lump sum amount to get a policy, and post that there are no other payments required. This is in contrast to those policies where yearly or quarterly or half yearly payments are made for the insurance policies that are purchased. If you take a look at these numbers, you will see that there is a close to 80% share of those policies where the customer just has to pay one single premium. Now, while there is nothing wrong in this aspect, but this just goes to show that the other policies where the payments are made based on a payment schedule, the market share is only 20% for LIC in that scenario. The second risk for LIC is the pending cases against LIC that have already been filed in the court. The amount of these cases is a total of 74,000 crores. Now, if and when the decision of these cases come and if it is against LIC, then this is going to pose some pressure on their income statement and their net profit as well. The third and the final risk for LIC is that IDBI Bank is listed as a subsidiary of LIC. Now, IDBI Bank is a bank that does not have very strong fundamentals. So in future, there might be a situation where a fresh infusion of capital is required by IDBI Bank, and LIC will have to do that because it always is sitting on a surplus of cash with them. Alright, so these are the three major risks that I see LIC business having as of now. But this business also comes with its own set of strengths. Let's find out what these are. The first strength of LIC's IPO is that it is a very well-known global player. In terms of the market size, LIC is the fifth largest player globally and the largest in India, where the second player is a distant second. The second advantage is that it enjoys enormous amount of customer trust. And this is because it is directly owned by the government of India. So there are no issues with respect to its credit worthiness. The insurance claims will definitely be honored because it directly has the backing of the government of India. The third reason is that all of this is coming at an extremely high profit and an extremely high revenue. The business fundamentals look extremely solid for LIC, and this, in my opinion, is one of the biggest strengths for LIC. The fourth and the final strength for LIC is a very well diversified product portfolio, which caters to the need of children, men, women, old people, salaried people, everyone. They have their own unique products, whether you want health insurance, life insurance, term insurance, etc., etc. LIC has an insurance policy for all the requirements that anyone can possibly have. Alright, so these are the major strengths that I feel LIC business enjoys. But now, whether or not you should invest here, let's find out. Now, if you have watched this video till here, you would have already made up your mind that you are going to invest in LIC's IPO, and I totally concur with your opinion. In my opinion, LIC's IPO is going to be a hugely successful IPO because this is a business that enjoys enormous amount of market share, good top line growth, enormous bottom line growth. To be honest, I don't see any point that can pull the LIC's business down standing today. So please invest in LIC's IPO. You are still not going to get more than one lot because the demand is going to be unprecedented in my opinion, but do invest for that one lot as well. There is no harm in trying out your luck. All the very best from my end. I hope you enjoyed this analysis of LIC's IPO. Do subscribe to Finance Lens and I'll see you the next time.